Hello there. I just played a long over the board game in the National League, which I play. This time it was round 6. I played on board number 5. And as you can see, I won this game, and I think it's very instructive. The way how I played, I think I played really well. I did have one blunder, one mistake, well, tactical mistake, which luckily my opponent didn't take advantage of. But other than that, I think I played rather well. And also, this was a pretty long game. This was the last game played in the round. So the end game, I had the audience in the end game. People from my club and from other club were watching, and after the game, they all congratulated and they say that it was a very beautiful game, and well, I was happy because finally I managed to outplay the opponent, take the advantage, and finally win. So I have to say that I'm happy with this game. Although this one mistake, I would I'll be even more happier if I didn't make this. So let me show you the game and my thought process and some of the ideas I had in the game. My opponent, who is, if you look at the national rating, stronger player than I am, he opened the game with f4. So this is bird opening, and here I don't know the theory, but I do know how to respond to any opening which is out of the book. This is the way that I just play my Queen's Gambit decline setup and hope for the best. And this is always good. If you don't know how to refute some opening, just play what you know. So here I just played d5, knight f3, knight f6, just normal opening moves, e3, e6, and he plays d4. So now I realize what he's doing. He's doing this stone wall formation. He'll put this pawn later on here, and this is stone wall attack. So the stone wall attack is a very strong weapon if you know how to use it, and if you play against someone who doesn't know how to respond. And I didn't have chance to play against this stone wall setup many times. I do know some basic ideas what he wants to do, and basically he wants to attack on the king side. He wants to castle, he wants to bring his queen over somehow, put his bishop here, and then try to launch some kind of attack. And the problem is with Stonewall is that you are killing this bishop. So you are putting all your pawns on the dark squares, and the dark square bishop is basically dead. And you will see in this game that this bishop never played. So I realized he's playing the Stonewall attack, and well, my idea here was if I can just make him to trade this light square bishop, then I know he doesn't have the attack. And if he doesn't have the attack, then we have normal middle game, and I can try to outplay. So, okay, I continued normally, bishop e7, bishop d3 as expected, castles. And now I have to continue my development, and I usually continue with b6, or I can play here c5, I can play knight first, it doesn't matter. But in this situation, I really wanted to trade this bishop. And I think this is one practical approach, which maybe you can find instructive, is that I don't really know how to face this opening, but I know that this light square bishop will be strong attacking piece. So I don't mind, and the position is low, d5, d4, and so on. So I don't mind losing several tempi in order to exchange this bishop, because if I manage to exchange this bishop, I will have I will not have to worry about the attack, and I will have all the time in the world to consolidate my pieces, my position, and so on. So for that reason, I'm not worried if some of my pieces end up on some weird squares, because I will have time to get them back. So I played b6. So my idea was here to trade the bishop. Okay, and now he plays knight b to d2. Okay. Very important. He's controlling now c4, and now I want to trade this bishop off. Like I said, I don't mind if my knight ends up here. Okay, and now I think the best move for him would be to try to stop me from exchanging the bishop. So maybe to play c4. In that case, I will probably try to attack his knight here. So when I take the knight, then this piece will be attacked twice. And I'm not sure what can he do here. If he escapes, then he will lose the pawn. So it's not really clear how can he stop me from exchanging this bishop from this position. But I was thinking this is a possibility. Anyway, he didn't do any of that. He just took my bishop. And now he's just doing me a favor, you know. He doesn't have light square bishop. I'm not afraid of any attack. And he can start the attack. He can try to attack, but I know, you know, he doesn't have the main player here. So I took the bishop, okay, and now he plays the knight to e5. And this is very thematic, you know, he has this knight very well covered. And also you can see that this knight is now aiming for this c6 square, which was weakened after I played b6. So I have to think about this, and also this square, and so forth. So my plan was, first of all, I have to take care of this square. And I was thinking, you know, if I go knight to b4, he'll just kick my knight and nothing good will happen. If I go back knight b8, I would rather have the rook here first before I go back. So I played this queen to e8 move, you know, just controlling c6. And then later on I will put my knight here or here. Okay, he played c3. So he completes his stone wall formation, but he doesn't have light square bishop. So nothing good from it. Now I played rook to c8. So my idea was that first of all I play c5 as well. So maybe the rook will then control c6, and if the rook controls c6, I can move my knight here to d7, which is a better square for the knight, because then my two knights protect each other. And this knight is important. Maybe he protects, you know, h7 and so forth. So I thought that knight is better here, so I need to put, so from this position I was thinking about this, but if I do this, then my queen is blocked, so I have to control this square. So first I play rook, then I play pawn, and then I can do this maneuver, and it's all worked fine. So he played this queen to f3, so he is now starting the attack, but he doesn't have a light square bishop. If he has a light square bishop, it could be dangerous. But now I just don't worry, you know. So I play c5. I just continue my development plan. Okay, he plays queen to h3, hitting h7, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have light square bishop, like I said. So nothing really to worry about. And now I'm remaneuvering my knight back. So knight to b8, and now he played knight d to f3. Okay, thinking that if I attack this knight, he can put another knight there. So knight b to d7. Okay, and now he thought for a long time and played f5. Notice that this pawn is now attacked twice. I realized this before, so I cannot ignore the threat, because if I ignore the threat, if I play something else, he will take, I take, and then he takes with the queen and with a check. So I cannot ignore, I have to do something, and I think there is nothing better to do but just to take the pawn, and he takes the pawn with the queen. And now I'm thinking about this knight, which looks kind of, well, maybe I can make a target out of this knight. So I played bishop to d6 here first. And yeah, you'll see I played g6 later. Computer wants me to play g6 right now, but okay, queen to d6, bishop to d6, sorry, and now this knight is attacked 3 times, and it's also defended 3 times, so this is very important. And also notice this pawn d5 could be a problem. If this knight ever leaves its post, then it's undefended pawn, so I have to take care of this as well. He played bishop to d2, so okay, just wanting to defend, wanting to develop, wanting to bring the rook. And now I was thinking, okay, this knight is attacked, like I said, 3 times, defended 3 times, so can I remove one of the defenders and win a pawn? This was my idea, and I realized that I can. If I play g6, then, you know, he cannot maintain the queen in the position which defends the knight. So for example, if he plays the queen on g5, I can jump with the knight here, hitting the bishop and the queen, and then continue. And if he plays queen to f4, this could be dangerous, because then I can attack the queen with knight h5, attacking the queen, and yeah, later on again I have more attackers than he has defenders. But this move is a blunder, and I encourage you to pause the video and see why it is the blunder. So while you are thinking, I saw this immediately. So after I made the move, hit the clock, I saw the blunder. Why this is a blunder? and I had to make a performance, you know. If I would react, you know, like then he will realize that he has something. So I had to play it cool. So I was just, you know, playing like I'm not interested, and I watched, you know, the colleague of mine was playing the board next to me. So I was just, you know, I played the move, I saw the blunder, but I just, you know, started to watch some other games, and you know, like I don't care, just a normal move. And I was watching the other board, so not to, you know, my poker face maybe is not good enough, so it's better to watch some other board than to show him with my facial expression that there was a blunder. So the move he had was knight takes here d7. He didn't play this, but this was the move. Why? Because now if I take the queen, he can just take the knight, and he has the fork. And after this, if you count the material, I just lost the piece. So my best move, if he plays this, my best move is to, I cannot take with the queen because then he will take my knight, so I have to take with the knight, and then he can just grab this pawn. And then he's a pawn up with a better position. So this was a blunder. And yeah, I think only bad move in the game. But luckily for me, he didn't see this. He just played queen to h3, and now I can win the pawn. But still, I have to be very careful because move order matters. Notice that this knight is undefended if this knight moves away. And for example, if I wasn't careful enough, if I take first with the bishop, then he takes, let's say he takes with the knight, then this is attacked. So I cannot take. If I take with the knight, he can just take this one. Okay, nothing terrible happens because it's my move. But okay, anyway, I wanted to make sure that this knight will always be protected. So this is why in this position I first took with the knight. So after he takes, he took with the pawn, I take with the bishop, and now this knight is protected. If he continues to take, I take with the queen, and again this knight is protected. So I wanted to make sure that my knight will always be protected. Here he played knight to g5, threatening here checkmate, not immediately, but he can take the knight first, because knight is defending h7, and then deliver checkmate. So the defense is h5. Okay, now he doesn't have anything. Rook a to e1. Okay, and now yeah, still this is you know, this kind of hanging and so forth. And now I realized that you know, his bishop is dead. If I manage to keep his pawns here, his bishop will be dead forever. And this is why he played rook. I guess he wanted to push the pawn here and to release this bishop. And it's very important for me to keep this bishop dead. So this is why I found this move, knight to e4, attacking the bishop and the knight. So he has to take, and after he takes, I take with the pawn, and now this pawn is blocked and this bishop is dead. And also I can easily defend this pawn. It's not even an isolated pawn. His pawn is isolated, my pawn is not. And I'm a pawn up. So I'm winning. Here I have a better position, but still I need to win this. I mean, if you watch my channel, you know how many times I had a better position and lost. So I have to keep my focus here. He played queen to h4, hitting my pawn, which there are several ways to defend it, but I think the simplest is just f5. Now the pawn is protected, and I don't need to worry because all the penetration squares of the queen are well under my control. So he played queen to g5, hitting the pawn. The pawn is defended, but I had the idea of playing queen to d8, trying to exchange queens and hit the bishop. So I want my queen, I mean, I don't want to, you know, assign my queen of defending the pawn. So here I just played king to h7. He retreated back with the queen h4. He probably saw my move, queen to d8, and he wanted to defend. He didn't want to exchange queens and go in the endgame with the pawn down. So queen to d8, hitting the queen, hitting the bishop, and he just played queen to f2, defending the bishop. But okay, you can see that my activity, my bishop here is in the center of the board. All my pawns are on the light squares. My bishop is killing. I have the control over the open file and so forth, so you can see how my position is better. Also, I can very easily put my other pawns on the light squares if I want to and have much better bishop. So if the queens are exchanged, if this was a, you know, pure endgame, my bishop is much stronger. So okay, I want to take control over the open file. So first I play queen to c7 with the tempo, hitting this pawn. He has to react. If he plays this h3, then I have this skewer. So he plays g3, and now rook c to d8. So now I'm controlling the file, and also you can see very nice d3 square. He doesn't have any light pieces which can attack my rook. So my rook is here forever. If he wants to attack the rook, all I need is to push the pawn, and then I have the passer here. So he played rook to e2 because he realized that I will pile up on this bishop, and now rook to d3. Finally, I am the one having the active rooks. So you know how many endgames I lost because I had passive rooks, and now finally I have the active rooks and he has the passive rooks, and I'm just much better. King to g2, I mean, he doesn't have any moves here. He's completely cramped, so he has to try something. So he's trying for this, to arrange this pawn storm. Okay, I'm playing c4. So first of all, if he ever attacks my rook, I can just take with the pawn and have the passer. And second of all, I want to put my pawns on the light squares. And yeah, I'm in no hurry. He played h3 here, so he wants to go forward. I'm doubling rooks here, rook f to d8. Just in case. So my idea was, for example, if he didn't do anything, if he did something silly, I was thinking about bishop takes. So if he takes, then I can take the bishop, the rook. I was thinking something about this, something along these lines. If he would do something passive. But here he played g4, so he's pushing the pawn, and now I had to think here because it's not so easy. You can see that my pawn now is attacked 3 times and defended only once. So I have to be careful here. So, well, there are several ways how to deal with this. One is just to take the pawn. You know, all the penetration squares are under my control, so maybe it's not so bad. I was afraid that he'll do like check, then I take, then he checks, then he takes this pawn. So I didn't want him to go all the way there. So first I played queen to d6. Now I'm just threatening to win the bishop, so he has to do something with his bishop. He just retreats the bishop to c1, and now I play rook to f8. And now if he takes, I can just move the king, and he cannot take because the pawn is pinned. So for example, if he takes, I have to move the king, otherwise this will be check. So I move the king, and now this pawn is pinned, and I can pile up on this pawn and regain it later on. So this was my plan. But this didn't happen. Surprisingly, he played g5, so he's just closing position. I guess he was hoping that he will manage to close the position, you know, so much that it will be like a fortress and it will be a draw. But okay, king to g7 here. So king to g7 is because I want to defend this rook. So you can see here, if this pawn ever moves, if this pawn is gone, then this rook is attacked twice. And maybe I want to do this break sometimes, so this is why king g7, protecting the rook, and also maybe rook can come here or something. He's continuing with his plan, h4, so he wants to lock everything down. And now, well, just look at this position. He doesn't have any good moves, but it's not so easy to find a plan for myself. So I just need to be patient, you know, setting traps, hoping that he'll fall for some of the trap, you know, improving my pieces, putting the pawns, for example, on the light squares. So I have all the time in the world to do whatever I want. And I played this queen to d5 with the idea of preparing f4. Because if you notice, if I play f4, if he takes, then this comes with a check. So this was the idea. I mean, not immediately, because if I takes, check, he can block with the queen, and it's still not all that clear. But okay, it's a nice pin to have, and a nice possibility to push the pawn with the check. So this was just improving the queen a little bit. And here he played rook to d2, obviously out of ideas, so he wants to exchange this rook, which I'm fine. If he takes, I can just take with the pawn and have the pass pawn. So here he just doesn't know what to play, and he just plays some moves. And now I realize that, okay, now f4 works. Because, for example, if he takes, then I take with the check, and now I'm attacking the bishop. sorry, the queen and the rook. So if he blocks, I can block, takes, and now I just take the rook. So yeah, by playing this rook to d2, he's just allowing me to play for f4. So f4, he takes the rook. I don't take immediately. First I give check here. He goes to g1, and now I just take the rook. So now I have two passed pawns here, and there is nothing much he can do. And also I'm attacking the pawn. So after this pawn moves, I'm attacking the pawn. So he plays a3 to stop the pawn, and now just queen d7. And I don't think he has any good defense against this queen g4 check. It's just game over. So he plays rook to d1. I play check. And I thought he will go here, but okay, he decided to go here on h1, and now I'm just bringing the bishop. So you can see that now this pawn is falling with the check. His queen is under attack. So what can he do here? He has to move the queen. If he moves the queen, I just give check. So it's over. And he realized, so he just played rook to g1, and this is mate in 2. So just check, he has to block and mate. So he played rook g1, and he realized that immediately it's mate in 2, and he just, you know, we shake hands, and he resigned the game. So this is the game. So I have to say, like I said before, that I'm satisfied. I'm a little, it's a bittersweet because this g6 was a blunder. So I did made one blunder, not a big blunder. I mean, it would cost me a pawn, but okay, I had luck this time. He didn't see this, but I think all other ideas, you know, how I handled this opening, exchanging the bishops, remaneuvering the knight here, taking control over c6 all the time, you know, let him keep the knight on e5, but you know, to make his knight useless. So for example, this position, I think it's instructive the way I played. So yeah, he has the knight on e5, which looks like a monster, but it's useless because all the forward squares I had control over these squares. So this is how you can play against this. You know, if your opponent manages to put the knight in the center, which is very strong, you can you don't have to, you know, move the knight and then play f6, never play f6 to chase away the knight. You can just, if you are patient, if you can hold it, you can just take away the forward squares for the knight, and then the knight doesn't do anything. He has to go back or either be traded. So yeah, this was the game. Thank you very much for watching. I don't have any over the board tournaments, so I'm now just playing the league. The next game is 2 weeks from now. We have I think we have several rounds to go. I'm not sure how many. I think maybe 5 rounds. I'm not sure how many rounds I will be playing. But anyway, I decided to put all my long over the board games here on this channel. So this is the game. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more chess. Cheers.